Hi, this is John Ondo from Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. We're back after being gone for over 4.5 years. And I hope you get a chance to listen to episode 77, where we explain why we were gone for so long and that we're back for at least 3 more episodes. Angel and I are big supporters of entrepreneurship, and we love small businesses and faith-based businesses. And we just want to encourage you through our podcast each week. What's going to determine if we continue with more episodes will be the response. Subscribe to us on your platform. Send us an email at john@ondomedia.com. That would help us know you're listening and you want more episodes. So thank you so much, and let's get into today's episode.
This is the small business podcast that is sweeter than all the rest. Marketing, media, and cupcakes.
Welcome to episode 66 of Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. I'm John Ondo. I'm a filmmaker, and along with me is my beautiful wife, Angel.
Hi there.
She is a customer service pro, as well as has a side hustle of a cupcake business, hence why we are called Marketing, Media, and Cupcakes. So today, you are actually in the process. I had to pull you away from making a birthday cake that is purple.
Purple and pink. It's 2 ladies sharing a birthday party, and they didn't basically want to pay for 2 cakes. So we went with 1. So why we have purple and pink.
And it's, the innards is?
It is 2 layers of vanilla with 1 layer of chocolate.
Excellent. So it's just kind of a stock basic cake.
Basically, I just am waiting for my client because I bought a banner to go on it. That is really more for an 8-inch cake, and this is only a 6-inch cake, and it's not hanging properly, so I didn't put it on.
So you need answers.
I always need answers.
So, you remember the old 8-ball that you'd shake with water in it would say different answers to questions?
Yes, and do you realize they have an app for that?
Yeah, it's not the same.
Well, but Grace apparently has it on her phone, and it doesn't work. You can shake it.
That's the point. You need to have that water sound and that sound.
I see. Okay.
Well, we have the better part of a question 8-ball or whatever those things are called.
We do have an 8-ball.
We have Terry Dismore, our good friend, joining us today. Terry, how you doing?
Hey there, John and Angel.
Hey.
I'm doing good. So you went from the 8-ball to the goofball. Is that what you're saying?
Something like that.
Exactly right.
Well, this is the whole segue construction here is that we're setting the fact that Terry, who we've known for years, now has a new podcast, and we're here to promote that, and it's called Quiz the Diz.
Love the title. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you very much.
So is it kind of like you are our new question 8-ball or whatever it's called?
I can be the 8-ball in your question pile there if you want to. Just don't shake me too hard.
So basically, you can
off.
ask Terry what they should have on the birthday cake.
Cool. He's like the new 411.
Yeah.
Or the old 411?
Hello. I don't know.
Thanks, Angel. I appreciate
you're welcome,
that.
sweetheart.
I can hear you, I may be in a different part of town, but I can hear you.
Whoops.
So, Terry, why did you start a podcast?
Well, a lot of it's because of you and Angel, because we would sit around your table there. I know, don't blame you. Right. Sorry, I just decided to choke.
Hey, by the way, on podcasts, it's not good to cough, And
man. Yeah.
I'll blow my nose in a minute.
What'd you say?
I'll blow my nose in a minute.
Thank you. It's great. I apologize. I just was talking along. You can edit that.
I can, but I probably won't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Please don't.
So why did I start Quiz That Is? Well, I wanted a podcast because every time we would sit at the table with you guys, you'd be like, you all need a podcast. And so Nay has joined me. She's my announcer.
Yeah,
I'm the announcer in the family. She's my announcer on the podcast.
Nice.
And then over the years, I found out through various and sundry ways that I just liked answering people's questions, no matter what they were. Either I would come up with an answer, I would find out the answer, or I would know somebody that had it. So that's kind of where it came from. And the initial episode that's available is we're starting out with just why I feel like I can answer questions. We spent, for instance, 13 years teaching Sunday school in a class setting that was senior highs, and they could ask any question they wanted, and we'd answer it out of the Bible. And it didn't matter.
In that age group, they are going to ask any question they want.
Yes, we had questions that ran the gamut of, can I get a tattoo, to what about premarital sex, to who should I vote for? I'm like, well, you're 16, you can't vote for anybody, but let's talk about that, to why is Christianity right and we feel everybody else is wrong? all that kind of stuff. And I mean, we answered them on the fly. It was mostly me leading, but she has a great deal of knowledge. So we just would answer them like that. And then we would tease it out with people as we went, finding out, are we answering the question that you expected us to answer? Or are we answering something different?
Gotcha.
And then just in consulting, I've been doing that for 20 years now, practically, and would find out that people would ask you questions that you didn't expect to answer. The other side of that coin is I would ask them questions they didn't expect. And one of the things I tell some of my clients is, you're going to cry. I just want you to know that, because I'm going to ask you a question you didn't expect.
Everybody has a different motivation and a different mission with a podcast. Some people, it is a marketing tool of their business.
Yep.
Other people, it's we call it a hobby. It's let's talk about movies or whatever, and it's just something fun they like to discuss. It's something they like to talk about, which is I think the most important thing to a podcast is have something you like to talk about. For us, one of our things, and we've been kind of open about it, is Angel and I don't work together in our normal jobs, but we believe at some point our lives will intersect more, that we can combine our marketing, media, and cupcakes professional lives into something that will be something we could use as a business someday.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought this would be kind of a fun way to kind of explore that out, plus do a podcast. So Terry, what's your motivation? What are you trying to do with your end goal to this?
Well, in the years past, one of the things I did a lot was public speaking. For about a year, right around the time I got married, which is 35 years ago, I spent a year speaking to high school classes about a school that I represented down in Louisville, and went all over the state of Kentucky, part of southern Indiana, and just spoke. I didn't speak extemporaneously. I had a real live slideshow. And I'm not talking about PowerPoint.
The 35 millimeter.
Well, yeah. And this was before Bill Gates had thought of PowerPoint, or before he bought it. And so it was like, I did that. So I kind of had a basic outline that I went by, but I had to answer questions, and I had to keep a group of teenagers entertained for an hour. That really, they're glad they're not doing math in class or whatever, but they needed to be entertained. So, I feel like it's a calling that I've let go, because I'm pretty good with an audience usually. Most of them don't get up and leave, so that's a good thing.
That's good.
And you going somewhere, Angel?
I thought about leaving, but I decided to stay.
Well, why don't we go ahead and see how good Terry is? Why don't we quiz the Diz and we do that? So you have a question in the audience, Angel?
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, how about the beautiful lady over there on the right? Let me ask your question, ma'am.
So, situation. You are a manager of a retail store. An individual is supposed to show up for work, and they don't. What do you do? What do you say to that person when you get a phone call after your store's been open? After your store should have been open for an hour, and find out from a customer that it's not. What would you do?
That's not a good thing.
No.
Well, for one, that didn't start with that person that day. That started with that person earlier. And they feel some ability to blow off what they're doing, usually. Now, I have heard of people that get hired and just never show up to the first day. That's a whole different thing.
Yes.
That's usually a hiring problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got somebody that's been working for you for a while and doesn't show up, first of all, it's usually a communication problem on the manager's part, because they haven't made sure that person knows they're supposed to be there the next day. Posting a schedule is not enough. You need to know, first of all, do you know you're opening tomorrow? And you usually check that the next day. I do. Secondly, it is, did the person oversleep? That's a possibility, but they've got to know the importance it is to you as a manager, as a leader, as an owner, that store be open when you say it's going to be open. There is some talk today about people that are, that's just not in, the work ethic is not in the millennial generation. And I call BS on that, Barbara Streisand, because the ones that I know that work and that want to work show up. And they show up, but they have to believe in what they're doing. It used to be, we believed in a paycheck. That was enough.
Yep.
But now they've got to believe in what they're doing. So let's say that they've got a cupcake store.
Mhm.
I'm not suggesting that there's anywhere to buy cupcakes except from you, but
I appreciate
let's
that.
just pretend.
Mhm.
You're welcome. But let's say they've got a cupcake store and they're supposed to open at 9:00 and they oversleep. There's not a whole lot you can do about that,
Mhm.
but there is a culture of I'm responsible for that.
Mhm.
So you want to have a culture of responsibility, and the way the culture of responsibility starts is with the owner.
Okay.
And we see a lot of people that get into franchises, for instance, that get into the franchise to make money, which is okay. I
Mhm.
understand that. As a matter of fact, Subway's corporate name is Doctors Associates.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Subway was developed as a store to support doctors with another source of income. So you never see a doctor in there making subs.
No.
But most of the Subways have a fairly good culture of how they've trained and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
So a lot of times, I think franchisees just don't care. Well, you've got to care.
Mhm.
And the owner's got to be around some.
Mhm.
So that would be my answer to that. There's
Okay.
not really much you can do about it if they oversleep.
Yep.
But if they don't care, there is something you can do about it.
Okay.
Very good.
I like it.
So here's my question for Quiz the Diz.
Okay.
My car wouldn't start, and I had to use a hammer. What did I hit?
Your car wouldn't start and you had to use a hammer. What did you hit? I'd say, first of all, yourself in the head for buying a car that wouldn't start. Then, let's see, what did you hit? Probably you would have hit the starter.
Bing, bing,
because it was
bing.
stuck.
Very nice.
Wow, that was cool.
It's true. The Miata, right after I got everything fixed on it, the starter went, and the only way I could get it out of the garage was to hit it with a hammer, which is there is a reason for that. There's brushes and such electric things going on. You hit it, and it typically kind of makes it wake up long enough that you can get it started a few more times. And very
That's awesome.
Very good.
If you're having to start your car with, you're a redneck if you have to start your car with a hammer.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that'd be a good Jeff Foxworthy joke.
Yeah. Well, there was there was other related stories of that, but we don't have time for that today.
We don't have time for that.
No. So Terry, what do you hope? Who is going to benefit from the Quiz That Is podcast?
Well, I don't mean to be selfish, but first of all, me, just because it gives me an opportunity to answer people's questions, and I love doing that. I took a disc profile. You know what a disc profile is? You
Yes,
ever heard of that?
indeed.
One of our first episodes, we did the disc profile
We
on
did.
our show.
And I took it, and I'm a high I. I'm like 99% I. So I'm very gregarious, as you all know.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 67% C, which is they never go together. C is where you're really organized
Mhm.
and you follow procedures and all that. Now, you all know me. I'm always trying to break the rules,
Right.
but I never break the rules. I'm coming close. And so,
You question the
although-
rules if the rules are a benefit
Yeah.
to us or not, which is, I think, always a good thing to do.
but when somebody saw that, there's a guy that I know that's a disc expert. That's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, let me ask you a question. Do you really like standing in front of an audience and asking questions or answering questions? I'm like, yes. And I'd never thought about it before, but I do. I love it. And so if I could have a show or a stage show or anything like that where I was doing that, I'm going to get stumped occasionally.
Of
Frankly,
course.
when I started answering your question, the only thing that came to mind was my smart aleck answer. And then I thought, oh yeah, the starter would probably be hung up.
Yep.
So
Well, you would make a fabulous host or a guest on Hollywood Squares then. 'Cause that was always the classic.
I'm afraid I wouldn't be a Paul Lynde level.
No one could be quite a Paul Lynde, but But yeah, you know what? You and I know a great guy, an entrepreneur, a pastor who says, people pay to have problems solved or, questions answered, and that's always where your problems begin to get solved when you start asking questions. And I think, in this day and age, there are so many problems, and everything is presented a problem in our culture anymore. It's like nothing can be okay. Everything has to be something is wrong, something is offensive, something is broken. So to have answers in this day and age, I think it's refreshing.
So,
Well, thanks.
well, where do you get your questions? Are these questions that people are going to send to you? Are they going to email you? Where do said questions come from?
Well, I have a website that I'm still developing. You know, it's interesting. I thought I'm just going to wait until everything's ready and start the podcast. And I'm like, if I don't start the podcast, I'm not going to get ready.
Sometimes you just have to jump.
Mm-hmm.
So John has given me some information on a link that I can use to record people's questions. I'll be out in public with people and I'll say, hey, have you got a question for the Quiz the Diz podcast, which the next couple of episodes is a friend of mine that asked me a question about how to manage a team. He's a realtor, and he said, how do you manage a team? And so I've used his question.
That's good.
Then part of it is going to be an answer to John's going to help answer that. He didn't know that yet, but John's going to help answer that question. Because I will tell you what you run into is people that don't realize that there are several different types of people, but you really put them down into two different types. One are creatives and the others are worker bees.
Mm-hmm.
And a creative you cannot manage, and a worker bee you cannot lead. You have to manage worker bees and lead creatives. And if you try to do one to the other, it's not going to work out well.
Well,
you may think it will, and consultants will tell you it does, but it doesn't.
Well, you know, but that's a great point. One of the books that I've always recommended, it's on Audible's Creativity Inc. It's written by one of the founders of Pixar, and it's one of the best books as far as leading creative people I've ever read. And it's in more and more in the world we live in, and especially now in the post-COVID pandemic world where we are working from home. And people are being forced to be more creative and more responsible for their time. I do think that everybody's taking a little bit more on that I am creative. Even if you're just doing, and forgive me if you're an accountant, but accountants get creative in a different way than maybe an artist does. But they're creative. They have to think outside the box. So I always say everybody can be creative, but there are certain jobs that are a little bit more where you're processing. And what would you say to people right now that are in this, and they're maybe in managing? I know we've discussed this several times with some work situations we've been dealing with some friends where there's control issues because the boss wants everybody back in the building, and the building is perfectly happy being back home and doing their work there. What would your suggestion be into an environment like that?
Well, I think the first thing you've got to understand is what is your desire as a boss to have everybody back? Is it that you have a more creative environment, or is it that you have a more controlled environment? Sometimes having a bunch of people together gives you more creativity, and sometimes it just gives you more control. I've worked for places like that. I think probably all three of us have worked for places that are just the only reason you're there so the boss can keep an eye on you. Mm-hmm. So that's a bad thing. You've got to fix that first. If you'll notice, both answers I've given so far have come, the top has to be fixed first. You can't fix the problem from the bottom up. It has to be fixed from the top down. And a lot of bosses don't see it as a problem. So when you have, part of what I'm doing in the podcast is talking about how our spiritual issues indicate how we solve problems. And so one of the problems that you've got is most people don't think they have any creativity in them, or a lot of people don't. And the fact of the matter is we were made in the image of God, and God is the only other creative being there is. Man and God. The only creative beings. You never see monkeys will pick up a paintbrush, but I'm talking about really being creative, taking a raw idea and making it into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the idea.
Well, and I think, too, there's a difference between, and we've all worked with people that, as soon as it's 4:59, they're out the door because they don't like their jobs. And a flip side in my world is a lot of times I look up at the clock and it's 6:00, and I will literally go, I really need to stop because I've been at this all day, but I'm on a roll. I enjoy my work, and so forth and so on. And then there's times where you just get burned out at 4:59. You got to go home because I want to go home and see the kids, and that's perfectly fine too. There's a motivational issue, and I think that's part of the things that I have always had to analyze with people is: are you leaving because you have a busy life and you love your family and you're leaving right on time, or is it because you really can't wait to get out of here because you don't like your job? And that's not good for anyone if that's the case.
No, and there are days when everybody doesn't like what they do for a while. Now, Angel, I've seen you working in the kitchen and have tasted the delights of your efforts.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, but I know there are days that at 3 a.m, you're like, I'm really tired of baking right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also days at 3 a.m, you're like, man, these are really good. I want to keep going.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it's for each podcast, is it going to be a question, a series of questions?
Well, I have an answer for that. One is on the ones that are short and quick, I'll probably try to collect 5 or 10 questions that are short and quick answers. Now with John's, I made it short and quick, but I could have gone a little longer on why you have to hit the starter with a hammer.
Yes.
And what kind of hammer you hit it with and all that kind of junk. You all know me well enough to know I'm going to try to answer the why along with the how. And the other answer to that, Angel, is this. My goal is to have 15-minute podcasts.
Oh, okay.
No longer.
Oh, okay.
And so if it takes more than 15 minutes, I'll split it up. And the reason I want 15 is the average travel time for somebody, even though not as many people are traveling to work right now, but the average travel time is 15 minutes.
Okay.
Or is 20 minutes in Columbus, sorry. So I want something somebody can pop in and listen to it.
It's about
be satisfied.
35 minutes if you can't get your car to start.
Well, yeah, but you have a hammer.
I have a hammer handy. So
did that answer your question, Angel?
I think it did.
Terry's a radio guy.
Well, I would listen to him read the phone book. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if 15 minutes is going to be enough for me, but
it's a phone book.
That's fine. Phone book. Come on now.
It's a phone book. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, the yellow pages.
That's your question for today. What's a phone book? Well, Terry, tell us where we can find the brand new. If you when you first open up the podcast, it's going to have that new podcast smell to it. So,
well, I'm doing it through Buzzsprout. I'm going to do it through that, so you can find it wherever podcasts are sold.
So it'll be on Apple and Spotify and all the other ones that are out there now. So great, and so listen to that. But you'll want to search for Quiz That Is. And that will get you there.
You'll see a big Q is my logo. One other thing, Angel, you asked me a question that didn't fully answer, and that is, how do people get me questions? One is, I actually have a phone number you can call and leave a message.
Oh, wow.
614-382-2582.
Okay.
You can email it or text it or whatever you want.
You can look it up in the phone book. It might be in the phone book somewhere.
And I'll read the phone book to you if you want to,
there you
Angel,
go.
but it takes a while.
So I just was curious if you had a email address as well. Someone could reach out to you.
I do. It's Terry@quizthediz.com.
Wow.
Terry@quizthediz.com.
Well,
somebody told me to get the URL before I started the thing.
That's an important thing.
Definitely.
I don't know who that was, John, but it could have been John.
It may have been.
Buy that domain.
Well, good luck with the podcast.
Yes.
I hope when you have millions of hits in a few weeks, and you'll still come and visit us every now and then.
I will come and visit you anytime, cupcakes or no. I'll always come and visit you guys. We love you guys.
Yay.
Thanks for having me on today.
Thanks
My
for
pleasure.
being on.
You want to know more about our podcast, Marketing Me and Cupcakes? You can find us on both on Instagram and on Facebook. We are working on upgrades to having a website, but I'm sorry, we've just been too busy to do that. So I'll just do what everybody else does. It's COVID related. We can't get that done right now. That's my excuse for everything now. If somebody, when we found out about our friend's shop that didn't open on time, I said, well, just blame it on COVID, because that's the general. You call UPS, we're sorry, due to COVID, your package has been delayed. And you say, okay, I guess it's COVID. So if you know you're at work and you didn't get that report done, just tell your boss, you know what? I think it's COVID, but don't blame that on us.
I am not saying a word.
Marketing Me and Cupcakes is the name of the show. And until next time, keep living the dream.
Connect with John and Angel via Facebook and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Marketing Media and Cupcakes is a production of Ondo Media.